Well, welcome to part 4, folks. I left Stewart driving toward Kitwanga. These pictures are taken east of Stewart. I went to Kitwanga and had lunch. It was a late lunch. And so that's where Highway 37 ends and Highway 16 eastbound begins. That's where I had my lunch. Kitwanga Cafe. Then moved on down the road, took a few pictures of things that interested me along the way, and ended up in Hazelton. That's a historic trading post in Hazelton. Cloudy day. This looks like snow on the ground, but it's not. It's just a very poor picture that I had to do the best I could with. This paddle wheel shaft, very interesting. There's the drive shaft for the paddle wheel, that big long thing on the sidewalk back there. And to the left of that is one of the steam engines pistons. And you notice that connecting rod is bent around the drive shaft. When that engine exploded, that drive shaft had been bent completely around before the engine blew up. People who are interested in that sort of thing will find that really exciting. This is a steam engine. I don't know what that was used for, but I took a couple of pictures of it anyway. This is the riverfront looking upstream and downstream in Hazelton. Hazelton Landing, actually. This ore crusher was used over 400 years ago. Some of the locals in town built this huge flagpole and mounted it in the city park. That reel is about, I don't know, 4 or 5 feet around. Across. There's a nice looking car parked in the Hazelton Park. As I was leaving Hazelton, Doggy and I saw a bear. So we stopped the car and started taking pictures of the bear. He was kind of wandering off 200 feet away when I took these pictures. So they're not very clear, but it was fun. It was an exciting thing to do. There he was standing up eating blackberries. And then the doggy barked. And he turned around and he looked. He wanted to see where's that doggy bark coming from. So I grabbed that one last picture and we took off down the road to this old farmhouse, which was a long ways away, outside of Houston, BC. And there's Topley grocery store. Now we're 20 miles east of Houston at Kenny Dam Lake. That's a panorama I made. And we found that wheelchair in Williams Lake, BC. That wheelchair was 10 or 12 feet high, really a monster. On August the 18th, we got into Clinton, BC. Took pictures of Clinton, walked around town. Anybody from Clinton will recognize these buildings, I'm sure. That's an old, I believe it was a government building, old timer. It's been restored. This museum next door to the government building. Looked like one of the oldest churches in town. This is the Clinton Emporium or some such thing. That you've heard of second-hand stores? Well, this was a fourth-hand store. They had absolutely everything in that place. I never did go inside. If I'd have gone inside there, I'd still be there. The price on this was $3,950. It was for sale. Looks like it might have been an old log truck or a log wagon. some tackle, horse gear. Oh, that's a bicycle patch, looks like. Believe it or not, that's an apartment house. People are living upstairs anyway, for sure. Pretty little picket fences around some of the properties in Clinton. This is probably the newest building they have in town. This was a picture taken behind the museum. This is a bunch of stuff the museum owns. It's a blacksmith shop. Palace Hotel. That's a motel in town. And on the way out of town, I took pictures of these ponies. And out of Clinton was Crown Lake. And this is Lily Loot City. There is a city down there, and right there is the Reynolds Hotel. No, maybe that's not the Reynolds. It's coming up. Heritage house in town. Very pretty home. There's the side yard. And another picture of the side yard. There's my little doggie out there doing whatever doggies do when they get in a strange yard. There we go. That's the Reynolds Hotel. And that's the highway into the city. That bridge, wooden bridge, believe it or not. 4x12s. Put that thing together. These are pictures that I took on my way toward Vancouver. This is Canadian countryside just north of Vancouver. Log jam. People out there walking on those logs don't have brains God gave a crowbar. And ran into a little bit of gravel road again. But under construction. It's probably all repaired by now. I'm sure they got it done before winter arrived. There was two pictures, one to the left, one to the right. I made a panorama out of them. I really like that. Here we go. That's North Vancouver, way down there in the distance. I drove into town and got lost. Didn't know where I was, so I got up on a high point and looked around and saw where all the big buildings were, so I headed in that direction. And I took pictures out of the car as I was moving toward the big buildings. Figured that was downtown, and I wanted to get a few pictures of downtown. Big pink bus. I thought that was interesting. Vancouver's a very clean city. I enjoy Vancouver. A lot of those flower baskets along the street. I started out leaving Vancouver about 5 o'clock or so on the road to Abbotsford. Took a few pictures on the way. Traffic got really heavy. It was 35 miles to Abbotsford. It took me an hour and a half to get there. But I stayed with Sharon and Virgil that night, and the next morning I was at the U.S. border, standing in line, driving in line, waiting to get back to the good old USA. Had a wonderful trip. I would recommend it to anybody. I think it was fantastic. Thanks a lot for watching, folks. I appreciate it. You take care now.